More about living with the coronavirus epidemic. I don't hear much about the coronavirus now. All the talk is about what happened in Atlanta. More strangeness there. That went from a nuisance call to chaos and struggling to shooting a man in the back. That has, as they say, a bad optic. We are loaded right now with bad optics. Bad optics are the reverse of warm fuzzies. People were making videos of warm fuzzies and cute pet tricks to cheer others up, but they've been overwhelmed by videos of bad optics. Usually video shot by a police body camera. Bad optics don't always translate to the truth or the reality, but bad optics prevail and tell the narrative, and that's what people believe. Bad optics are not a lie or fake news. It's just a video showing a man fleeing and being shot to death in the back. The accompanying narrative is even worse. Here is a guy who was going to be going for a hamburger, and then he was going to be arrested for drunk driving, and a minute later he's gunned down, shot in the back. Yes, there's stuff sandwiched in between those 2 points, but those 2 points are left to tell the story. If I were a black activist, say the president of Chaz, or the emperor of Chaz, I would realize that this is my moment in history, and it is time to go all in. I will never have an opportunity like this again. So much bad news is good news for me. I don't have to barter. I can demand and stand. I can point to sinful, murderous behavior on video that everyone has seen, and I can say, this is what I want. As with the virus, everything is on lockdown until you agree to my demands. And one of my demands would be, put the trumpet on mothballs. Get rid of him. Tell him, you're fired. He's annoying me. Get rid of the pander man, too. Had more than enough of him. Let's come up with some new candidates, and they've got to be under 50 years old. The trumpet must have heard this because he just made a speech, one of conciliation, a note I didn't think he had on his horn, announcing an executive order affecting immediate police reform. He strongly supported the police while acknowledging that they had to change. The new standards he called as high and strong as there are on earth. He ran through many of the reforms, and he kept saying, cost is no object. Cost is no object. I think that could replace we could replace in God we trust with cost is no object. The new American motto, there it is, cost is no object. And he noted that no other administration could have accomplished this incredible reform. Well, I'd rather have him reforming than storming, although he did say if it was needed or wanted, he was ready to send help to Seattle. It was good to see the trumpet, boastful and yet somewhat restrained. Several judges in my state have upheld lawsuits against the field mouse and the lady doctor, claiming that they clearly acted illegally and unconstitutionally when they shut everything down and put restrictions on all our actions, all of that stuff they did in order to save us. Today the field mouse had a media conference, and he completely ignored those lawsuits. He went on about the numbers, and there wasn't much to say there. As far as he is concerned, the lawsuits and the judges' rulings on them, they don't exist. Why no one calls him on this, I don't know. If they did, I think he would either shrug and say next question, or he would say, they are mistaken. The judge's opinion is just that, an opinion, and it's wrong. The field mouse is on a mission So no judge's ruling, or I should say no plural judges' rulings, are going to deter him in the slightest. You'll have to forgive me for speaking about baseball. I grew up loving the sport. One of the problems with baseball, the core problem, is money. Another is that the commissioner works for the owners, and the interests of the owners may not always be the best interests of the sport. Also, there is a deep and abiding sense of antipathy between the owners and the players' union. They share almost nothing except the game itself, and the game bleeds because of that. I think baseball, even if they decide to play a limited schedule, is going to be a casualty of the virus, maybe the unemployment and the racial trouble too. Right now, baseball has a terrible optic, and even worse, many people don't see it at all. Baseball is nothing to them. It's boring. The fools who run baseball somehow fail to see this. We have blindness on all sides. Can someone find a one-eyed man?